All right, it is 3 p.m., and so the July 13th meeting of the Milwaukee County Board Committee on Audit will now come to order. This meeting is being held in room 203R per section 1.01D of the Milwaukee County Code of General Ordinances. It is also being conducted remotely via Microsoft Teams. This meeting is being live streamed on the County Legislative Information Center Click, the link for which is at the top of today's agenda. To members of the committee that are appearing virtually today, please keep your camera on at all times to ensure quorum and your microphone's muted. Please raise your hand. Please use the raise your hand feature if you wish to speak, or just wave at me. To members of the public and departmental representatives, please keep your cameras turned off and microphones muted until I call on you if you are appearing virtually. When I call on you, you will need to turn your camera on and unmute your Microsoft Teams microphone. When members of the public are done speaking, you can depart the Teams link and follow the remainder of today's meeting and click. Please maintain a sense of decorum and direct all comments and questions to me as the committee chairperson. Welcome everyone to another meeting of Audit Committee. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Supervisors Logston.
Present.
Alexander.
Present.
Rolland.
Here.
Gomez Tom.
Here.
Capriolo.
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Here.
There are 6 members present, 3 appearing virtually. We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Mr. Clerk, will you please read item 1 into the record?
Item 1 from the Director of Audits, Office of the Comptroller, Audit Services Division, a combined informational report on the status of recommendations contained in the Courthouse Access Keycards Audit Report and the County IDs Audit Report. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Folliard, Comptroller's Director of Audits. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay, wonderful. So the first report before you today, we did a combined status report, one related to the key card audit that we released in August of 2024. Subsequently to that, in January of this year, we presented our county ID card audit program. As you may recall, while the county access cards and county IDs used to be separate, they were recently combined into a single card. Due to the close relationship between recommendations contained in the audit reports, the same management being responsible for implementation of most of the recommendations, and having the same reporting cycle, we decided to combine them under one report. So we have included an executive summary for each audit if you want to refresh yourselves on the findings associated with each report. And we have 2 separate status reports attached as well, where recommendation responses sort of relate to each other. The status reports will kind of reference the other status reports, so you can hopefully keep track of that. So for the key card audit, we made 11 recommendations for facilities to strengthen their overall policies, establish reviews to assist management in the tracking of active key cards, and establish strong internal controls, including the monitoring of the key card program. We believe implementation of these will help rectify the findings. This is our 3rd follow-up report on the key card audit. We presented our last follow-up in January, and at that time we had closed 3 of the 11 recommendations. As you'll see in this update, 9 of the 11 recommendations have been closed, leaving 2 which remain open. The recommendations that remain open are on track for completion by the end of the year. This is the first status report following up on recommendations from the county ID audit, which also contained 11 recommendations. At this time, 3 of the 11 have been fully implemented. The 3 that were closed relate to the updating of policies and procedures and training in the Office of the Sheriff related to public safety officers' duties in screening of county IDs, and a new P&P developed by facilities related to background checks for contractor IDs. This is a good effort for the first status report. So no concerns here on either of these reports. We will continue to follow up on the open recommendations and plan to be back before you with our next update in January.
Thank you very much, Director Folliard. Any questions from members of the committee? Virtually? All right, seeing none. This was information only. Thank you again, and I think we can move on to item number 2.
Item 2, from the Director of Audits, Office of the Comptroller, Audit Services Division, providing an informational report on the status of recommendations contained in the Grant Management Audit Report. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Okay, Jennifer Folliard again, Comptroller's Director of Audits. We were before you a year and a half ago to present our audit on the county's grants management procedures. The audit was titled County Needs to Establish Clear Roles, Responsibilities, and Procedures for Grant Management. As the report title suggests, we found that the county did not have clearly defined roles and responsibilities for post-grant award financial management. At the conclusion of our field work, the county did not have a comprehensive grant financial guide. However, AMOP 7.01, which created a federal grants management policy, was released fall of 2024 by the Comptroller's Office. The county did not track grant expenditures by code in its financial system, nor did it deploy the grants module at that time. Many county policies and procedures were either not written or, if written, not current, and there was no centralized location for staff to find guidance that did exist. The county's annually issued single audit report process lacked written procedures, leaving the county at risk for failure to report all required funding. So I'm before you today to present our third follow-up on management's efforts to implement the audit's 14 recommendations. When we were last before you, 9 recommendations were open, and all 9 are still open when we submitted our report for this cycle. As you can see in the attached status report, progress continues, and many recommendations are on track for implementation later this year. I will note that recommendations 8 and 9 are right on the cusp of being closed, so that was just a timing issue. As discussed in the comments provided by management, there are anticipated changes to the uniform guidance by the feds, which are under review and comment at the moment, and I know the Comptroller's Office and members of the administration are monitoring those changes closely. We don't have any concerns with the status of implementation, given the heavy lift and the regulation changes which may be coming. So at this time, I can take any questions you might have on our report. We plan to be back again with our next update in January.
Vice Chair Logston.
Thank you, Chairman. I noticed on your report you have in there that you're going to have a system to go live, and you're going to assign a code number to all the grants, and we're going to be able to look up the information and follow it around the second quarter of this year.
Chairman and supervisors, yes, the Comptroller's Office, so not our office, we don't implement our recommendations, but Comptroller Central has been working on a project to deploy the grants module. I think it was last cycle maybe when they were here. It was either last cycle or in May. They're getting mixed up now. They had a separate informational report kind of on the status of that, but it's rolling out as far as I know, and there was an update from them as well so that once it's completed will be a big value add for the county.
Thank you. Look forward to that.
Perfect.
Any other questions for members of the committee? Just a few quick questions. Could you mention the of the 9 recommendations, the ones that are closest to completion?
Yeah, 8 and 9, I think, on here. They relate to fixed assets, as I recall. So the AMOP on that, I think it might be live now. The last time I checked, it was under the review period. So that is probably pretty much closed at this point. It's just a matter of timing when the report was submitted. And then related to that, there was a plan to bring the ordinance that contains the updates to that as well in the July cycle. I just haven't seen that submitted yet, but I imagine it'll be before another committee.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And then we'll catch those and any others at our next follow-up.
With no further questions, I think we can move on to item number 3.
Item 3, from the Director of Audits, Office of the Comptroller, Audit Services Division, an informational report on a video training series available to elected officials to better understand the county's annual comprehensive financial report. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Thank you. Jen Folliard, Comptroller's Director of Audits. Our office manages the contract with the outside auditors who perform the annual countywide financial audit. Our office typically submits the countywide audit packet, which includes all those reports in the September cycle, so the next cycle. And included in that packet, the largest report in there is the county's annual comprehensive financial report, also known as the ACFR, that contains the audited financials and the opinion letter from the auditors. It can be a bit intimidating. It's a very large report. It has a ton of information on it. And I often hear questions about how dense it is and how can we better understand it. So recently, the Government Accounting Standards Board, or GASB, which is the independent organization that establishes accounting and financial reporting standards for state and local governments that follow generally accepted accounting principles, created a new video series to help elected officials understand the information included in government financial reports. The video collection, which is hot linked in our report, includes 16 videos, each ranging from 5 to 10 minutes in length. There's a three-part introduction, just on general financial reporting and what an ACFR is, and an additional 13 videos covering key areas of the ACFR. According to GASB, the videos are designed to be viewed in their entirety as a comprehensive series for viewers who want to understand the majority of the ACFR, or can be watched individually if a viewer only wants information on a particular part of the financial report. I will say they can be long when watched all at once, so if you're interested in watching the series or part of it prior to September's report, probably want to break it up a little bit. And it's also easiest if you have the ACFR in front of you, so either the 2025 ACFR, which will be released in August when the item submission is due, or if you want to start on it and look at the 2024 ACFR, that is on our website. You can search under ACFR on the Comptroller's reports page. Otherwise, just wanted to provide the information to everyone in case you're interested in learning more.
Awesome. Any questions from members of the committee? No, this content, you're right, is not stuff you put on the background and just wash dishes too. So I appreciate the recommendation of looking over the 2024 report as well. If there's no questions from the committee, we can move on to the next item.
Item 4 from the Director of Audit's Office of the Comptroller, Audit Services Division, providing an informational report on the status of recommendations contained in the Parks Infrastructure Revisited Audit Report. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Okay, so it's follow-up day for us, and this is our final report before you. Jen Folliard, Comptroller's Director of Audits. This is our second follow-up report on an audit of Parks Infrastructure, which we issued in June of 2025. In this audit, we sought to check in on the status of Parks Infrastructure items identified in a 2009 audit our office completed. The 2009 report included images of the condition of various parks assets, which we could compare to conditions as of last year. We found 13 in better shape and 9 that were the same. Of those rated in poor condition in the 2009 audit, of the 11, 9 were better and 2 were rated same/better. During the time period between audit work, there were improvements and enhancements made to the parks through county funding, partnerships, third-party agreements, grants, federal funding, and Friends Group support. We identified issues with the asset data systems, including duplication and an inability to create a comprehensive list of parks assets. Despite these challenges, we found that the county had assessed or inspected over 92% of the assets in our sample timely. We found a lack of policies and procedures and document retention for pool and playground inspections, and we also found that annual on-site walkthroughs of the properties managed by third parties were not consistently occurring in our sample. For this one, upon review of documentation provided by the department, we agree that 3 of the 8 recommendations have been implemented, while the others remain open. The newly closed items relate to Parks and DAS working together to make sure asset databases are up to date and free of duplicates, and the development of policies and procedures to ensure inspections and assessments that are conducted are recorded in a timely manner. As to the other open recommendations, there are a few additional policies and procedures which were under development when this report was submitted. We weren't able to get copies of them, so we'll continue to follow up on that, and we hope to be able to report out on further progress when we're next scheduled to be before you, which we anticipate is the January cycle.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, my question is, will we, so supervisors receive a list of all the playground ratings? I just happened on 4th of July to see one of the playgrounds in one of my, in the municipalities, and it was pretty bad shape. I did not realize it was that poor off. Where can we get that list of how they rate our playgrounds?
So that's a question for management. I think there's a representative from Parks on Teams, and they might be able to help you.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Tombson, Director of Planning for the Parks Department. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer that question regarding playground inspections.
Yes, please.
We do keep an internal document we have one person who does all of our playground maintenance for our 111 playgrounds, and he keeps rating systems for the equipment, the surfacing, the site, and the overall condition. Those tables are updated as he travels the system, so it's a live document that is kept in the cloud and is available whenever anyone wants to see it. We do a download of that rating system, and we use that in an equation that combines the age of the playground, the condition of the playground, and our Parks Equity Index when we're creating a capital project order that we put into our capital outlay. At this time, we request 6 playgrounds per capital cycle. Of course, we don't always receive 6, but based on the amount of playgrounds in our system and the average age that a playground can be carried, we factor that to be around 23 years. That's how we arrive at 6 per year. We're behind schedule by about 30 playgrounds. So we do have those inspection reports available. If someone would like to see them, it's just a matter of understanding that they are live and updated in real time.
Thank you. Also, how many playgrounds still have sand for the bottom, on the ground on the bottom of the playgrounds? I was surprised to see that.
Chairman, supervisors, we do have a number that do have sand. I don't have that at my fingertips. I'll venture to guess 20 or so have a combination. We are working to make ADA upgrades whenever we can. The rubber surfacing that we use is the most accessible surface available. It's also the most expensive, and it lasts about 10 years, so that's about half the life of a playground. So we try to do combinations of surfacing material whenever we can, but that we have not installed new sand in probably 15 years as for a new construction.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? I can definitely attest to how expensive that rubber is because I built a playset in my side yard this year and did not use the rubber because it was twice as expensive as the playset itself. I think next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item 5, an ordinance to amend from the Deputy Director of the Department of Administrative Services, a resolution slash ordinance requesting approval to amend and renumber sections of the Milwaukee County Code of General Ordinances in chapters 32 and 56. This item was also referred to the Committee on Finance.
Good afternoon, Chair Ekblad and Vice Chair Logston and committee members. Thank you for, my name is Amy Turum. I'm the Deputy Director of Department of Administrative Services, and I want to thank you for hearing this file and for your continued support of the iterations of Milwaukee County's procurement modernization work. This file has addressed some specifically targeted sections within chapters 32 and 56 of the General Code of Ordinances, and as mentioned, will be at Finance later this month. We developed these iterative updates with the Office of Corporation Counsel and submitted this with their strong support. We'd like to thank Deputy Attorney Bill Davidson and Assistant Corporation Counsel James Davies. And going forward, we're also going to be working with Steve Cady in the Research and Policy Director for future iterations of this approach. So like I said, this is an iterative approach covering minimal adjustments on an interim basis, as noted on page 2 of the board report that was submitted to you. Procurement and contracting requirements appear across 9+ interacting ordinances and chapters. Changing one section at a time impacts many others, and we've been working carefully on how we could do this in a way that makes sense for the whole county. We also know state and federal policy changes have required repeated legal review and careful planning and phasing, including the uniform guidance update that was just mentioned in an item before. However, our priority is ensuring safe, responsible, reliable, and cost-effective procurement now. And so to that end, we have issued a new completely updated administrative manual of procedures, item 1501, which is countywide guidance on a comprehensive update for procurement and contracting. Previously, this AMOP covered only contracting. Now the new AMOP covers the entire procurement life cycle and includes 18 attachments, and we're expecting 2 more when we do another iteration. We've updated the threshold matrix in a way that makes it more easy to read and doesn't contemplate a property that we don't own anymore as part of the decision-making process, which was over by the transit center parcel. And we also have clarified roles, responsibilities, contacts, and made all the contacts general so they're evergreen for the lifetime. And so you're not worried about who left last month and you don't know who to talk to. We've also had a comprehensive communication about this update, including today's What's Up. You may have seen the article. We've added a new logo for AMOP updates too to catch people's attentions. We've discussed this at 7 public committee meetings, including today as number 8, and across 5 different committees. And so why is this so important? We know it's topical for you. We know it's topical for us. We don't want people acting in a way that doesn't respect the minimum requirements to have a legal contract at Milwaukee County. Getting to the AMOP before the ordinances in this regard as a comprehensive made sense, although we have updated a couple ordinances. We've launched a mandatory day force training, and over 315 staff involved in procurement, contracting, and signing have been mandatorily assigned to that training. If it is not completed, their department will no longer be able to contract until that training is complete. We also have procurement office hours, and we've got all of our templates and resources consolidated to a single County Connect location, including with the support of the Comptroller's office for their resources. Looking ahead, we're rolling out a new contract compliance program that will assist departments in monitoring their contracts, including their performance of the vendor, the due dates, extension dates, reporting that's required under the contract, et cetera. We'll continue modernizing the entire contract lifecycle process through our source-to-pay program so that systems, processes, deliverables, and cross-departmental work in making sure that what we're doing aligns with what the expectations are of our colleagues across the county. We're also going to be updating the AMOP again to add that contract compliance piece now that it's getting finalized. We're going to update the ordinances again, and it's probably not going to be just one update. It's probably going to be a series of updates ongoing as things change, as laws change, as policies change. DAS remains committed to responsible, iterative modernization of procurement ordinances and processes, and we will continue our close partnerships with the Office of the Comptroller and the Office of Corporation Counsel. Thank you for hearing this file and what we're up to today.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair Logston.
I would like to make a motion to adopt.
All right. I do believe, thank you for that motion. I do believe we have a hand up, Supervisor Gomez-Tom.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I need to be excused for the remainder of the meeting, if that's all right.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Travel safely.
Thank you.
Supervisor Capriolo.
Thank you, Chair Ekblad. This is something really minor. As I was just looking through the resolution, on line 25, it ends in the word no. It maybe is supposed to be now.
Is there a way to turn up Supervisor Capriolo?
If I heard correctly, it sounded like there's a clerical issue on, or a sentence structure issue on line 25 that needs to be looked at, that maybe we can just easily correct and resubmit. I'm trying to get,
The sentence or the line 25 ends in no. I think it should be now, but I could be incorrect.
Good catch.
1 second. That is correct. That should have a W on the end of now, or no, so that it is now, so that we can have our resolved clause correct. I'd be happy to submit that right now.
Great. That would be awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe that would fall under a scrivener's error, but we can get that corrected.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Just really quickly, the process here does not apply to MTS, correct? The ordinances we're talking about, do they apply to MTS? Do they not apply to how MTS manages contracts?
We intended what we wrote to include transit over at MCDOT. As far as what MCTS does, I would need Bill Davidson to answer that a little bit. That is slightly outside of my knowledge base. My apologies.
No, you're good.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. William Davidson, Deputy Corporation Counsel. Understand the question relating to whether any changes to Chapter 56 of the ordinances might just apply to MTS and MCTS. I think the short answer is not directly, because MTS, MCTS are separate entities from Milwaukee County. There would be indirect ways to gain that sort of compliance, I think, from MTS in terms of leveraging the power of this body to appropriate funds to MTS for the purpose of transit. That would be a conversation that we could certainly have, but any changes to 5630 would be indirect to the extent that they would apply to transit.
Thank you very much. That's what I thought. Just wanted to confirm. Really appreciate it. That's all I had for questions. Anybody else have any questions? We have a motion to adopt.
Made the motion.
No, yes, I was observing. Sorry, I wasn't asking. Yes, we have a motion to adopt from the Vice Chair. So, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Logston that item number 5 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor Logston?
Aye.
Alexander?
Aye.
Rolland?
Aye.
Capriolo?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
5 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
Thank you very much.
Item 6, e-comments submitted to the Committee on Audit via the County Legislative Information Center click. That's correct, Mr. Chair. I checked before the meeting and there were none. If any have come through during the course of the meeting, they will be appended.
Thank you very much. Well, we will then adjourn until our next meeting of audit on Monday, September 14th at 3 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.